So I have been depressed. Oh. So I wanted to make a video about high functioning depression um, or depression in a closet. So I have been depressed. Oh. So I think I don't want to take anything lightly. So I think there are people who there's an actual chemical imbalance. Um, my heart goes out to you. I think there are people that suffer from like during different seasons, like especially during like the dark winter season, or they have like sort of seasonal mood disorder or like depression, maybe with the lowercase d. And there are some people who are just taking hit after hit from life. Just hit after hit, disappointment, some their own, some self-inflicted, some it's a lot of defensive, offensive wounds going on, and they just keep going. They just keep going. So they paying their bills, most of them. They are working, they are getting their kids or their parents or their dogs, or they're responsible, right, by society standards. But inside, they are suffering. Normally, they have the hard time um, uh, focusing. They're tired, no energy, no motivation, um, just just a severe sadness and or hopelessness, and the loss of appetite or a really ravenous appetite. So if you have any of those symptoms, or if you're just tired or you feel hopeless, I want you to reach out. I've left some resources in the description below. Please reach out. Mind shifters, hello. I just hope everyone's doing okay. Um, I hesitated whether I wanted to do this video, but it's part of my journey. Um, so I just want to talk about something for a minute. I want to talk about functioning depression or high functioning depression. I sort of shared a little bit in my welcome to my channel videos. I think I did 2 videos in my room when I first started, and I just want people to invest in themselves. And I I'm awake, guys. I have been in a fog for a while, and there was a lot of different events that happened, and um, just kind of one after another. I think the most pressing event was I had a broken engagement, and just that whole story. I say engagement loosely, well, not really. It's just, if you've ever dealt with like a narcissist, and I guess technically we're all on the spectrum of narcissism and selfishness, but there's some people that actually have a disorder, and some people are malignant narcissists. And if anyone ever wants that story, it's just, it was something. But it's about maybe when I was 28, I met this guy on Match.com, and my son's father and I had crashed and burned, not for the lack of trying or the lack of love. It's just we met each other very young, and when our son was a toddler, we separated, or he was 3 or 4 years old. We parted ways because we couldn't reconcile our belief systems, and we were grown into different people. To this day, he is one of the best. He's the best example of what a man is, and a father, a husband. Um, and I pray that my son follows after him. So we've been through so much and just trying to make sure we have a good parenting relationship for our son, and I just thank God for that. So I really I got pregnant in college, and I had so much help from my friends and my family, my mom, my granddaddy, my son's family, and but I had a hard time uh, with that. Not with my son; he's been such a blessing, but just feeling like I went down a path that I didn't want to go down. Because growing up, it's just like you get pregnant and I mean, your life is over. It's just, I was fighting so hard to try not to be a statistic, and I became one. I remember praying for just a normal family growing up. I just didn't want any fighting. I didn't want any just craziness. I wanted a family. So, sorry guys. So, excuse me, just that's my prayer. I didn't want to be the queen bee. I didn't want to. Uh, I just wanted normal, just a family, someone to grow old with, to have kids, have grandkids, great grandkids, and uh, just enjoy life. So I get pregnant, and things didn't work out with my son's father. So I'm on the grind. Like, I'm working as hard as I can. I'm doing everything I can do. And I'm just trying to, climb up the ladder. I end up getting good two good jobs, one after another after college. Um, I had to leave my mom's house before I really wanted to, and it all makes sense now that things have come out. But so it's me and my son. We're just I'm grinding. I didn't have a cell phone for the longest. Like I had to my granddaddy gave me a track phone in college when I was pregnant, and I fought. I did not want to give that phone back. It was like when you go to 7-Eleven and you put the numbers in. Um, So I literally was like begging him to let me keep this phone, and he's like, "You have a job, like you need to get a regular phone." So I didn't have a phone for the longest, and I just had a house phone. Remember those? And I wasn't really savvy on the computer. I had like the old school, like I guess it's the desktop computers now, not a laptop or anything. And someone, I would always go on dates with people. Like I had friends who would say, "Oh, I have a guy for you. You want to go on a date?" I was like always up for it. Still hopeful, still trying to mend my broken heart with my son's father and trying to reconcile that. I was getting my master's. I was working, transitioning careers, just trying to be a decent mom and just on my own. So I so fast forward, I think I broke up with my son's father like around like 24, like before I turned 25. And we were kind of crumbling before then. And so literally just kind of on the grind, just picking my son up from daycare. You all know the grind if you have young kids, and just trying to not be depressed because I couldn't believe that his dad and I couldn't work it out. So I got through that. I was going to another church over in Oxon Hill at the time, and just again not really reading the word, but just being in the presence of church people just kind of just calmed me. I've always growing up, my grandma raised us in the church. It was always calming to get to church. It just always made me feel secure. And so I get on to Match.com, and that was like when the online dating was just kind of starting out. So that's like a decade ago. And I was like, I want a Christian. Like, I was very big on that. So, literally, in that profile, I put exactly what I want, like, down to like every little detail. Um, Anyone who's online dating now, it's just really be careful with that. So what I didn't realize is that, and I grew up seeing it, and like I said, on the periphery, I just kind of wanted to. My head was in the books and church. Like that's how I grew up. Like I don't want to. If someone likes me, I just kind of kept it moving. I always kept it friendship, and I did have a boyfriend like my last year of middle school, and that went into freshman year, and then I met my son's father, and the guy that I met, he had to leave, but that's a whole nother story. And I really thought we was gonna end up married. Like I just that whole, just so. Anyways, I meet my son's father my sophomore year. We were together ever since until I was about 25, and then before I turned 25. So I really didn't have a lot of dating experience, even though I grew up in sort of, low income area, sort of kind of like between urban and suburban type of area. If you're familiar with, Prince George's County, like Hillcrest Heights area, that's, St. Barnabas Road, Marla Heights, that's kind of Oxon Hill, that's where I grew up. And uh, Silver Hill Road, that kind of area. And so I just stayed in the books. I'm like, I don't want to, I'm just keeping, I don't see no one. And so I got called names. But normally my cousins, I love my cousins, they protected me, because people would think you're stuck up or something like that. I wasn't mean to anyone, but I was like, I'm not trying to get pregnant. I'm not trying to be on drugs. I don't want to try anything, like whatever. Like I just tried to keep my head. So even when my friends, like they were meeting guys and kind of having that hot pierce, where they want to meet guys, I'm like, I would hang out with them, but I don't want no types of parts in that. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like men, all they do is they just use you, they abuse you, they leave you. Like you just, you holding the bag type of thing. And I meant bag is like you end up having kid after kid after kid. So, anywho, I go on Match.com like 10 years ago, and I don't know, it wasn't really, I put exactly what I wanted. And so I met people here and there, a lot of nice people, really a lot of cool people. I think two people are still my Facebook friends, even though I'm not on Facebook like that. But, and they're married now and just what have you. But I met my ex fiance, everything, and just tall, dark, and handsome, very, academic, intellectual, down to earth, from the South. And the most important thing is like he came from a family of deacons. Now, hold that thought, preachers or something. Hold this thought. So I'm telling you, my lack of maturity, my naivete, I'm like, wow. My friends, I've seen them have experience with men, and it hasn't been great in all these games, and I've seen it, from, like I said, from afar. But I'm like, wow, I really have a catch. And like, just he just seems straightforward. Like I want to get married, active duty military. I'm like, bet love. Ooh, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus. So he ended up getting stationed to, he had two choices. It was either going to be Egypt or Hawaii. So Egypt, there was like, I don't know if people remember like the Arab Spring and how it went, crazy across like northern Africa and parts in that part of the world. So they sent him to Hawaii. And we proceeded to, we're serious. And that was a crazy, that was crazy, that whole situation. My son was younger, and I never had anyone around him, other than his father. And his dad and I didn't live together ever. So, so we proceeded to go to do a long-term relationship, like a long-distance relationship, excuse me, because we agreed to be monogamous. We're together. We're going to make this work. We're going to get married. And I just literally would be like an active duty wife, anyone who's familiar with that. That's kind of the plan. So we've been through a lot, we had been through a lot together. He got deployed to Afghanistan, just what have you. But let me tell you this. This is why you have to. If you have someone in your corner, I have someone in my corner. I have a lot of someone's in my corner. And sometimes you go through life and the devil does not want you to believe that you have someone. And if you don't believe in religion or it's just life, you just feel like you don't have someone. But I have a lot of someone's. But one person in particular, if she's watching, I love you. She knows the game. She's my bestie. She knows all the she knows the game. And we talk about this now and about why she never met my ex, and she never met him. And I don't, she sort of thinks that, or she thinks that maybe I didn't want her to really do her thing and kind of burst my bubble. I don't know. I think I have another thought about that. But anyway, she never met him. And we just had a lot of issues when he came back from Afghanistan, because I'm thinking we're getting married, we're about to, plan our lives together, and it's just all sorts of foolishness. So he got stationed back in DC, all sorts of foolishness. We were going to counseling. We went to a counselor he picked in Georgetown. We never finished it. He told me he was cheating on me, and I broke up with him, and it was like a back and forth. I mean, this relationship had me on the emotional roller coaster. I mean, my weight, I had lost all this weight, but when that relationship up and down, I'm eating, I'm stressed out at work, my family is falling apart. It's crazy. So this is what I want to tell you guys, men and women. If you're in anything, work, relationships, um, anything that is chaotic, we try to take a step back. If you're engaging with someone and every time you have a disagreement, because life you're gonna have disagreements, but if it always like you feel like you're on eggshells or it's chaotic, I really need you guys to try to take a step back. And if you can have an accountability partner, see, I had one, but I didn't utilize her. I kind of had my life separate, and I had a lot of walls up. Even though most people, when they meet me or when they met me, they was like, Paula's very open, she's really cool. But I use joking and my humorous nature as a defense mechanism as well. It's my natural nature, but it's also over the years have been like a wall. So I'll get into like the relationship and how just dealing with a malignant narcissist and losing oneself, at another time. But I'm talking about functional or high functioning depression. I still pay my mortgage. I still tried to enjoy moments with my son. I still went to church. I still did all the obligatory things that you have to do. But these are some of the signs that you are either high functioning depression or depression. And I don't want to get into the terminologies, because I think all of this is, you need to see someone. Like, it's okay to see someone and see a counselor. And I know growing up in a black church, it depends on which church. Sometimes you hear just pray it away. Yeah, I believe in prayer. I do. But I believe God has blessed people in, in psychology, psychiatry, counseling, and all sorts of other things. Counseling and coaching, he's given people the gifts to help other people. So I literally was in a slumber, autopilot. I realized I missed like so much of my friends, like one friend in particular, which I still haven't gotten back to. I missed her baby shower. I missed her wedding dinner rehearsal. I missed so much. I missed another friend starting her relationship with her now husband. Like, I missed out on so much. I just I just missed out on a lot. And if people interacted with me, like I said, I went to work. I was a high performer at work, still am. Thanks be to God. I think I'm a pretty decent mom. Made sure my son, was picked up on time. Made sure everything he had, clothes, shelter, any activities he wanted to be in, he had those activities. But I was literally dying on the inside. And I know it seems like really severe to say that, but it wasn't until the stress, the unhealthiness, I didn't know I had got that big, manifested on my face. Like, when I started to get, I'm like, what is this on my face? And I'm getting older, so like laugh lines, and my family, they age with they age with moles, or what do you call it, freckles and things like that. But I was getting a lot of that stuff, and like acne, and like these skin tests. I was getting a lot of that stuff prematurely. So it's fine. Okay, you 50, 60. Oh, that's life. That's how I'm going to age. But I'm like, why am I getting this stuff? I'm like early 30s or mid 30s rather. Man, let me just tell you. Then I was just like, I couldn't get out of bed. Like, I literally could not get out of bed. I would sleep 10 hours, couldn't get out of bed. And I would just come home and watch TV. Like, my son was on a swim team. He'd been several sports, but I would come home. I had this routine: get him settled, make sure everything's good, check his homework, and I would come home and I would just watch TV. And then for a while, I didn't have TV. I had VHS tapes, and my good friend Dave, I love you. He like sent me these Star Trek um, DVDs. Or I think I got a DVD player, and I would watch. That's what we would watch. And my son had his own little DVDs. Now, what if they VHS? I gotta go check. So I didn't have any sort of TV because I didn't want that expense for the longest. But then I got like the triple play, or I got something from one of the companies, and I would literally watch TV, just one show after another, and I would end up falling asleep on like the sofa. So I would watch 48, Investigation Discovery. I would watch just show after show after show after show after show after show after show, and I would end up falling asleep. That was my life. And then on the weekends, I didn't have my son. My son went with his papa bear every other weekend. I would I would literally make a casserole. That's if I had it in my mind to make a casserole. I would make a casserole, or I would either go to Chipotle, Qdoba, Chick-fil-A, and I would get pile up. I get 2 bags of Tostitos, get my salsa con queso. I would get my donut holes, and that's my weekend. I wouldn't talk to anyone because my family and I, not my whole family, but definitely my mom, for different, that relationship was not what it is now, and what it's working towards. It was just crazy. My friends, I shut them out. I would make plans or forget I made plans, and it didn't make me know, never mind. And I just love, like I said, my bestie, my homegirls. Just thank you all for just loving me, and just knowing that I love you guys. But I was going through, and I didn't know how to communicate to anyone I was going through. Like, I felt like when I get with people, part of my gifting, I didn't know gifting, but part of who I am is to make people laugh and to kind of be lighthearted. And I felt like after just being so tired, like I just wanted the weekends that I didn't have my son, I just wanted to be off. I wanted to take the mask that I had and just be off. So that puts me to stuff is coming up on my face. I'm so tired, like like when I mean tired, like I can't get out of bed type of thing. And I just remember one day, and I'll take you guys in my closet as I'm going through my purging series. I remember one day looking in the mirror, and I was like, who? I was like, who this be? Like, I literally looked in the mirror and I did not recognize myself at all. Again, it's not the aging, because I thank God, the aging process, that means you got another day, another year. It's not that. It was like, I actually looked in my eyes, and I was just, it was like blank. It was like, just like blank. It was like sad. It was like, I don't know. It was frightening. And I started going to the doctors to get tested. Like, is everything okay? Do, different autoimmune diseases, like what's going on? I had like symptoms. I was like, do I have lupus? Do I have, what's the other one? Hiroshimata, I think is another one. But I was just like, what's going on? And they kept saying, thankfully nothing's wrong. You're good. You know, are you stressed out? Like, you know, especially if you like, if anyone knows acne, if you get it right here, it's like a kind of like hormonal too. And I was just like, what is going on? So all of this, I'm sort of coming out. I cried out to God. I got a job that was closer to, because I was doing this commute from like kind of like Baltimore to DC. I was like, this is ridiculous. And I cried out to God. He provided an opportunity for me to get a job closer to home. And so I started, you know, I was like, oh, I got time with Eric. Little did I know, my son, he's an introvert. So he was good. He was fine. He was like, Mom, I got my friends. He had a girlfriend, not the one he's seeing now, but he's like, I'm good. You know, you should clean your room. This is what he said to me. Like, find your hobby. So I started playing tennis with a friend, and that wasn't meeting the need. And I just I was watching TV. My friends had got, you know, my girlfriend got, you know, engaged. My bestie got engaged. My other friend is buying homes and just moving up the ladder. So my other closest friend got married and moved away. And I had, in my mind, I'd ruined that relationship. So I'm just like, what the freakity freak is going on? So then my son, we were in church. You know, you got to do your obligatory church check. Went to church. Ooh, won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Ooh, look at God type of thing. And not saying that I felt like it was funny. It's just that I'm telling you just more about kind of where I was, you know, not saying that I didn't get warm and feel good and got my little shot to get through the week when I went to church. And I go to a teaching church. I want you to put a little note right there. Teaching, he said, he teaches. But how many of us know that you can be in the right place, but if you're not in the right frame of mind, it don't matter. So I'm literally, my son said he wants to take this class. We see like a little like, oh, the semester starting, take these classes. And I'm like, oh, I need to get my money situation. Because I'd never, until I got older, I knew to pay your bills, but really about investing and planning and making and wise decision making and money management system. That's a whole nother story too, guys. I really, you know, I don't know. I wasn't raised that way. I didn't really know. So I'm trying to figure this stuff out now and, you know, realizing like I need to get myself together as far as thinking about long-term planning. So he said, Mom, I want to take this alpha course. I was like, I don't want to take this. He's like, I want to take it with you. And I was like, okay, you know, in my mind, I was like, well, I get to hang out with him. So I go to the class and I'm so like, I don't want to be there. I want to hang out with my son, but I'm not about this life. And just from the very first meeting, the whole setup of this class is really a very like foundational Christianity class. And I think this course it was meant for like atheists or non-believers or agnostics, and I think it originated in England, the whole like the curriculum. But I tell people about the classes like praise and worship. You pray and then you go over the lesson, and then they break you into these small groups that you stay with throughout the course. And that changed my life. It really changed my life. And I started reading the word and really this lady was just, we had a table with two twins, and I love you, Rolanda, two twins who are amazing. And one of the twins, I can't think of which right now, but she was just so excited about the Bible. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, God is good, la la la. But I was like, but she just like, it comes to life. You get to see different things. You can read the same passage for 100 times. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, oh. Erica's like, Mom, wake up. So that is, I'm gonna end here because like that was the start, guys. It was me getting out of the environment, a job that was so stressful and I love that job. And I'll tell you why I loved it, because it was a distraction. And some of us, we love distractions, right? Because we don't say we love it, but the feeling of being distracted keeps us from looking at our lives and looking at our choices and our decisions. And you don't get to self-reflect. And So when I got to a point where I got a job, it was new, but it wasn't as pressing and like high visibility, and you're constantly, on the go briefings, and wasn't anything like that. And then my son, like I said, he grew up, right? And I'm just sitting here like, what's my life? Like, who am I? And that class is what started me on the journey to um, just, really go to God. I don't know if I can say I turned away. I kind of got lukewarm after my experience with my ex-fiance. And, but I'm so grateful that he showed himself in that, because I would have been married and I would have been miserable. I probably would have been dead, guys. And I probably would have been dead. And I don't take it lightly, because I didn't, like I said, I don't know what's wrong. I didn't know. And certain things growing up, like violence it's like whatever. Like you can have an argument with your family, cops come out. We were at that house. And it's like funny how I grew up. It's like we were that house, but I also learned about God, and I learned about forgiveness, and I learned about being kind, and I learned about all these other things. And it's just like, I think what I realize now that I'm at this point, spiritually, or growing and learning, like we just finished the Old Testament, is that people, we all are dark and light. And the hope is that that light will, it'll take over, and it'll wrestle with that dark. But sometimes it's either 50-50, or the darkness just consumes people. And at times, substance abuse, and I think that was a way for a lot of my family members, got through their pain and their hurts, and it just, me and my cousins, and we were the byproducts of, we were I guess, collateral damage at times. But I was used to, like, oh, it's fussing and fighting and police, and then Sunday we go to church and all is forgiven. And then I would hate for payday to come around. I would hate for Fridays to come. That means drinking and foolishness and foolery. It just meant all sorts of craziness. So yeah, I just look at that time, the Alpha course is like changing my life. And I'll tell anyone, again, I don't even know if I'll post this video, but for my audience and whoever's listening, maybe it's that one person, if you believe, whatever you believe in, unless I want it to be something positive, that have like positive principles. I think Christianity has positive principles. I'm not learned in, the Muslim faith, and I know a little bit about the Jewish faith and the Catholic, just a little based on my friends, but I'm not learning in those. But hopefully all of your faiths, they're positive principles that help you be a healthy human being and be good towards other people, or moral. Not one and the same, but read the doctrine. Read what some people consider their guideline. I follow the Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth. Read it. Read the parables. Read the stories. Whether you believe in it, if it's real or not, I believe it's real. But read it, because there's so much wisdom in that book. And I think a lot of us as Christians, or people that are followers of Christ, or whatever these terms are, we don't read the word. And not only to read it for understanding, but to really meditate on the word and try to apply it to your life. And that's, here we go into keto life and any sort of nutrition plan or any sort of change. It's, how do I take the formula? Because the question is, I hear, what's the secret, Paula? How do you keep the weight off? You look so good. You look so vibrant. You look so healthy. And not saying I get all these type of, every day, but it's like, what's the secret? I'm like, the secret. There is no secret. The secret is discipline, consistency, having an accountability partner. Oh, best believe, if I'm blessed to find a potential mate, my bestie, yep, her, she is definitely gonna meet that person once, twice, how many times she needs to meet them, because she has a gifting about being able to discern this, characteristics and energies from people. Oh yeah. So it's like I had to go through all of that to tell someone out there that you are purposed, you are destined, you're not here by happenstance, you're not here by mistake. Um, we want to be peacemakers, but we don't have to be doormats. And you have, there's a reason you're here. If it was easy, everyone would do it. There is no easy way in life. There is no I thought too, if you had a rough start in life or a rough childhood or abuse or some type of hurt, that you kind of get a ticket, a free ticket. And when we read Job, anybody heard of Job? And I still trying to, and I say reconcile, but I don't think I ever will. It just is what it is. And there's a message in Job, and other than long suffering, is that, unfortunately, bad things happen to good people, and who's to say that I'm good? And I mean, that's what helped me with my forgiveness with my ex-fiance and just myself, because I had a hard time, and I'm kind of like that. I have a hard time forgiving myself, but it's like, who's to say that I'm good, or kind or moral? And like I said, it goes back to us all having, this combination of dark and light. The hope is that that light is going to overshadow that dark. And to just recently, I was able to pray for my ex-fiance. I was able to forgive him. And, you know, sometimes we want healing from the person who hurt us, and that's just not the way it is. Yeah, I hear hurt people hurt people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there are some people that just, they have the evil spirit. They care more about their self than others. And that's what I think I had to experience. It's like, it was a reminder, it was a lifesaver, that he had intention. So this is long-winded. Like I said, I don't know if I'm gonna post this, but going back to my profile, me seeing every detail what I was looking for, you kind of set yourself up, because a person who is ill intentioned is going to mirror everything you said you wanted. And if he played me like a fiddle. Remember, I told you I didn't have a lot of dating experience. I would go and hang out with people if they, set me up on a blind date, but I didn't have a lot of dating experience. I wasn't out in these streets. I didn't have a lot of men coming in. I didn't have any men coming out of my house. I was very crazy about it with my son. I didn't want anyone around him other than his family, either my family or his father's family, his father or his father's family. Very, very protective. And his dad was like, we were very, very kind of protective of that. Anyone that was going to meet him, that meant we were serious about him. So I literally realized that from the very beginning, from the very profile, he had played me. And because I wasn't grounded with God, my relationship with God, I wasn't consistent, I wasn't disciplined, I wasn't focused, I had so much clutter. That's what we're in a decluttering phase. But clutter, mental clutter, I had emotional clutter, spiritual clutter. I just wasn't a whole person. I couldn't discern, and I couldn't even make someone who has that gifting, my bestie, she has the gifting of discernment. I couldn't even say, bestie, like, I need you to, look at this person. And played me like a fiddle. And for a long time, I was angry at him for taking away my childbearing years, for just lying and cheating and hurting other women. I was like, but when you do this in life, what's going on? You pointing at somebody? I'm sorry to be pointing at you guys, but you had 3 fingers pointing back at you. And that's real change at that point, when you're able to not see what others have done to you, but you're able to reflect on your role in the situation. That's growth. That's the start. And I started to say, what was I doing? And it was clear. I'm gonna write this down. I'm gonna tell you guys, there were flaming red flags, like flaming red flags. But that goes into when I started learning about narcissism and malignant narcissists and all these, different disorders that are out there, and how, and just kind of doing research. And I mean, I went into crazy research mode. I kind of went all over the place, but throughout all those years, like from when I broke up with my ex-fiance from 34, and I would even say from like 32, I was even started like the high functioning depression, because I had a very stressful job, and it was just very, and I was just stressful in the relationship, because I was just like always trying to plan. He's like, oh yeah, well, in 3 months, so when I come back, he never planned to marry me. But I'm so glad, because like I said, I would have been in a world of hurt, because he used to say things like, if I find out you're cheating, I'll burn you. And I remember, and I'm skipping all over the place, but I remember the last, he was supposed to owe me some money. And he was like, oh yeah, I'll meet you up at the mall. And I was like, no, I don't want to see you at all. Like, I'm over it. If you really want to just, I'm a single mom. If you really just want to give me money back, you just send it to me. My bank account, you'll just put it in there. He was like, no, let's meet up. And to this day, I'm so grateful I didn't meet up, because that I think when I hear all these stories that y'all may never heard from me again. And I just, like I said, I had flaming red flags. So just what I have to say is, like, be present, be awake, be disciplined, turn off the TV, turn off the reality TV. Think about your dreams. Think about what you want to do. Live your life. Travel. Go see plays. I experienced that with my bestie recently. And I was like, oh, this is how people living. And she said, yeah. Just enjoy people. Enjoy life. And, let people know that you are hurting and you need help. And for a lot of people who have whatever faith they have, you don't have to say, oh, let me pray for you. I mean, you, again, discern, but not, sometimes people don't want to hear that. They just want you to go see a movie or come over or just talk about something random. And, but it's, just have relationships with people, so when you are going through it, you can lean on someone and you don't feel alone. And I didn't get my wake up call until I was able to get away from a very stressful job, and I can slow down. And I would encourage you, if you can slow down, because when you slow down, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be very uncomfortable. And when you start doing this and you get mad at everybody else, and then you start saying, oh, I got 3 fingers looking back at me. You start to look at what you did to get yourself in this position. Did you do anything? Like, what were your decision making? And I'm awake. I'm present. I'm grateful. I don't know if you guys will see this at all, but it is therapeutic. Mind shifters, I believe in you. We are shifting our minds. We are changing our minds, our lives through changed behavior. And don't give up. If you hurt someone, you did something, try to make it right. If someone hurt you, do whatever you need to do to get through the healing. Go to counseling, pray, go to the mosque, whatever you need to do. That is legal. It's not going to harm anyone. And let go. I know it's hard. Let go. And you have a life to live. A good life. Be kind. Be happy. Laugh. Joke. Don't feel isolated. And if you do, reach out. Reach out. Okay, guys, like I said, I'm not sure if you'll see this. Thank you for listening to my ramblings.